This is SRAM's brand new GX level wireless drivetrain. It's all new for 2021 and it's available as an upgrade kit for existing SRAM 12-speed Eagle drivetrains, and it's priced at £550. Now that will get you the mech, the wireless shifter, a battery and a charger. Now that's a much more attractive price point compared to the X01 original launch product that debuted around 2 years ago now, and that was priced at £950 when it launched. Now SRAM's wireless shifting is pretty awesome. It removes all the cables and clutter, shifts instantly, always, without fail. It's ultra crisp and precise. And essentially to make a shift, you're pressing a switch instead of like pulling on a cable. And speaking of cables, I believe that reducing cables is an amazing thing for e-bikes. It not only looks a lot neater, but it removes the need for routing cables awkwardly around motors. And it's just night and day different if you've ever had to route a cable around a motor. So how do you actually shift? Well, when you press this, there's a little switch inside and the rear mech shifts instantly. So in terms of hierarchy, SRAM GX sits under their kind of top end X01 and XX1, but above the SX and NX range of kit. So it kind of sits somewhere in between like the mid to high level kit. And SRAM GX level kit usually retains a couple of the features as the more expensive stuff. So SRAM usually trickle down some of the tech, but the cost is reduced by using like cheaper materials, or it's just got less features. But what's really unique about the GX AXS kit is it's pretty much the closest in terms of technology and performance to SRAM's highest end kit. In fact, the delta here between this GX AXS kit and the X01 and XX1 is really small. SRAM say it's actually their closest matching kit in terms of the features and the technology. Now I've actually got and been using the X01 kit pretty much for the last year, so I've got loads of experience using this one. But let's actually take a look at what's the same. Battery, circuitry, gearbox and the motor are identical. Only the assembly cage is different and there's some subtle differences between the bearings and the pulley wheels. So the wireless shifting technology that you're getting in the GX kit is virtually identical to the more expensive kit. And actually, whilst I've got them both here, I thought it'd be good to take a look at them and compare them and see if we can see the differences between the two. I wonder what the actual weight difference is. I'm interested, so let's take a look. So we've got the X01 here, new GX, and you'll notice it's got this little battery protector. Actually, it's only really for aesthetics. It doesn't really do much other than just stopping someone from nicking your battery. But if you look at them closely, really, really similar. I've not weighed the difference yet, so let's take a look. All right, so first of all, we will put on the GX, which is 455 grams, and the X01, 390 grams, so 65 grams difference between the two. That's going to be the actual material here. 65 grams, it's not a lot, is it? And the controllers are, like, to my eyes, identical. Like, if you look at them side by side, same paddle, identical design, like literally it looks like the same product, although the metal here is slightly different. You've got black on the GX, silver on here. Yeah, looks identical. You would not know looking at these really that they're two different products other than the colour. So let's weigh it. So we'll weigh the GX, 68 grams, X01, 71 grams. So actually it's negligible, but it's a little bit different, and that's just going to be down to the material. So there you go, GX on this side here, X01 here. so similar. Like when I was speaking with SRAM about the product, they were like, it is the closest in terms of drivetrain that we've ever done. And yeah, they're identical pretty much. 65 grams difference, but essentially the shifting is going to be almost identical. I doubt I'm even going to notice a difference. All right, we'll get rid of the X01 for now, because we know they're really similar. It ships with the original style paddle shifter, but SRAM actually sell an alternative, more traditional styled shifter with 2 buttons. And for this video, I'm actually gonna try this one, as one of my main gripes with AXS shifting has been the feel of the paddle lever. So I hope this makes it feel a little bit better, a bit more natural. I should note that this is just my opinion. I know a lot of folks who prefer the paddle style shifter over that one. All right, if you haven't seen it before, let me show you what is inside this if I just take off. So when you're shifting, you're actually just pressing this little switch here. See that? And then there's another one here. So you've got shift up, shift down, and traditionally it's done on that rocker. Like I said, I'm going to try this one. So I'm going to install this more traditional style. It goes on like that. So there you go. So you can see it's got like more of a kind of thumb shift rather than a rocker. But yeah, I mentioned it briefly earlier. One of my kind of gripes was the way the shift feels on AXS. You don't get that same kind of cable feel, that tactile feel that you get with cables. But actually, I'm wondering if that's just because I'm used to that. I'm kind of programmed to know what that shift feels like versus the clean, crisp, easy kind of, you know it's going to happen. It's guaranteed to shift that you get with the AXS. So I kind of need to clear my mind a little bit and forget about cable shifting for a while, install this and just see if I can get this to be like a drivetrain that I think shifts. And when I talk about shifting, I'm talking about the actual feel of it, not the performance, because the performance is brilliant. The actual feel of it is what I want to really kind of love versus just kind of tolerate or use. All right, enough of me waffling on. I'm going to get it fit to the rail. I'll show you how easy it is. And actually, I'm looking forward to removing some of the clutter from the bars because I hate the amount of cables that are on e-bikes. So reducing cables and clutter and making it look better and easier to install and move is a win in my book. So let's get it fit. Fitting the kit is pretty straightforward. I was using 12-speed Shimano XT and I'm fitting a new GX 12-speed cassette. So I needed to swap the cassette driver to an XT driver as Shimano use microspline. On the rail I needed to use a cassette lock ring tool to remove the front sprocket. I'll link this in the description. Installing the AXS rear mech is super simple. You just fit, you align it with a little tool they include, and then you install the shifter. Pretty easy. Next up, hit some trails, go for a ride, enjoy the scenery. Oh, and yeah, test out the shifting. Alright, after a few weeks riding it, here's my thoughts. First of all, I took off the Shimano XT from here, the Shimano XT drivetrain that I've been using on the rail since I bought it, so the last few months. And it did take me a couple of rides to get used to the paddle location. So normally with a traditional cable style shifting system, you're kind of a little bit further under the bars maybe, whereas this is closer to the bar and closer to the grip. But all it took was a couple of rides and then your muscle memory is just totally dialed. You just forget about it, you don't have to think about it. The shifting performance is outstanding. It's just, like I said before, instant crisp shifts all the time. Now you can actually in the app swap the paddles around, so one button will shift it up instead of down. I preferred it that way. It felt like a way more traditional style drivetrain when I could shift to a harder gear with the kind of smaller paddle underneath the handlebar, and the shifting performance is just totally consistent. So on the 5th ride, the shifting performance was identical to how it was on the very first ride. Now on a cable-based system, you're always needing to do like minute adjustments every now and again. It might be after the 2nd week of the install, you might need to change your barrel adjuster slightly. You don't have to worry about that on this. And also with cable-based systems, you might find that you kind of overcompensate for a shift. Sometimes you like press a little bit further, you know, it clicks in and it's not quite made it on the cog. So you have to kind of over press it a little bit to get it to shift. And again, you kind of get used to that. But with this, there's none of that. It is just without fail, shifting seamlessly, fast, precise and crisp all the time. So as a system, it's really good. It reduces all the clutter on the bars, it's very easy to install. The shift is brilliant. Even shifting under load on an e-bike seems pretty good. You kind of learn to ease up on the pedals ever so slightly just at the moment you press it. So after a couple of days, it is all seamless and your kind of muscle memory just works. The battery life, SRAM say, is around 50 hours of riding time. Yeah, I mean, you get loads of riding time. It's another thing to remember to charge. It's not too much of a hassle because the charger is super small, neat USB, old school USB though, and it shares the same battery as the Reverb dropper post. So if you've got one of those, if you do run out on the trail, you can swap the dropper down to the mech. Now the only other thing to mention is if you fall off, it's designed to move out the way quickly. I haven't fallen off on that one, luckily. The XO one I have, and I can see there's a few scrapes and things like that on the metal. Yeah, I mean, like all mechs, it is susceptible to damage and falling off. They do sell the GX as a standalone, so you don't need to buy the whole kit again. But in my experience, it is pretty hardy. It's not like a super delicate thing, just something to consider. But on the whole, SRAM have done an incredible job. It's a great system. It is now at a more attractive price point. 550 quid, still expensive, but you're getting a lot of tech, a really well performing system, and something that really cleans up the bars, the cockpit, and it just feels like super good. It feels high tech. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Pop your questions below and subscribe for weekly e-bike content, and I'll catch you soon.